Hello.
Hi, Kayla. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. Uh, may I get your name?
Kay, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. So it's oh, what's the correct term? It is the sound is a bit loud in the sense, when you go too close to a microphone like that, you can hear breath sounds. So, do you have a microphone? Are you doing this from a microphone?
Yes. Is that better?
Yeah, could you just move the microphone away from you slightly
How's that?
and then just slightly closer, just keep on talking so I can test the levels.
Okay. How is this? Is this okay?
That is good. That is very good. Okay. Just count to five for me. I'm watching the levels as you speak.
Okay. One, two, three, four, five.
Perfect. Great. So just give me a second. I'm just going to start recording and I'll tell you when we're recording. We are recording now.
Okay.
Firstly, just just introduce yourself.
Well, do you want me to introduce like myself to my channel or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm known on YouTube as your humble host of the Chambers of My Heart. I run a small channel. I do a variety of things. Rants, poetry, some animations here and there. I'm also a graphic designer, so I post my art on YouTube and Facebook or whatnot.
Okay. And tell me how DaddyOFive first came to your attention.
It was from skimming through some of the videos of particular big YouTubers such as Mr. Obsidian and excuse me, Suit Yourself. And I was doing this while I was at work, and I caught a glimpse of it, and I didn't know what DaddyOFive was or what any of this was until I actually sat down and looked at it a little bit from Suit Yourself's and Mr. Obsidian's videos, and then I went home and did my own video on the ink prank, which I watched. My video on it was the very first time I saw that entire video, and it's just like, oh my freaking gosh, how is this channel still on YouTube making money of all things?
So could you just say that again for me? I've just changed the levels again to be slightly less loud. So I'll ask you the question again. So how did DaddyOFive first come to your attention?
Um, It started off when I started to see snippets from particular big YouTubers such as Mr. Robzion and Suit Yourself, big YouTubers who I follow. Now, granted, I didn't see all of their videos, and I didn't know what DaddyOFive was. I didn't know what any of that stuff was, so I was at work and I started to skim through their videos, and it kind of got me curious. It's like, okay, I need to look at this when I get home. So I did what's called a reaction video slash raw commentary, and the video I did it on was the ink prank, and that was my very first time seeing the ink prank when I did my video, and I was just blown away. It's like, why is this channel still even here making money of all things? This is just horrid.
And explain to me the video that shocked you the most. So you mentioned earlier that it was the ink video. What was that video for people who don't know?
Okay, so here's what the ink video consisted of. You have Heather Martin, which starts out at the beginning of the video.
Sorry, could you because you might not hear my voice in it, could you just sort of like explain to us firstly kind of what video it was that caught your attention?
Well, the very first one for me was the ink prank, because that was the most popular one or most talked about video that was going around YouTube.
Okay, and what does that video consist of?
So pretty much you have Heather Martin, she comes on screen, explains that Cody, the youngest one, has spilled ink all over the carpet before, to which they had to spend a lot of money to replace it. So she explains to her audience that she has an invisible bottle, or rather a bottle of disappearing ink, and that she is going to squirt it all over their white plush carpet, and that she's going to start freaking out at Cody about it, telling him that he did it. So it pans over to where she's squirting the stuff all over the screen, and then it pans over to the next scene to where all the kids are downstairs, and you just hear from on top of the stairwell. I mean, they start cussing at these kids, "Get your butt up here now!" But she starts swearing and cussing at him, and it causes all 5 kids to freak out and run up the stairs. And for a good 2 to 3 minutes, they're swearing and they're yelling at Cody, and this is supposed to be a prank. And then the younger brother steps in. I can't remember what his name is, but him and Cody were playing Uno. And the other brother tries to explain this, and they start screaming and yelling at him too. And finally, Heather brings out the bottle, telling them it was a prank, and you could just see the devastation on the 2 boys' faces, and it's just they didn't find anything funny about this. There was nothing funny about this. Stressing your kids out for no reason like that, it's not funny. It was horrible.
So what was your reaction when you saw this?
Well, like I said, I was shocked, I was pissed, I was just flabbergasted as like at this channel even existed. And the more I dug into this channel, the more videos I saw of DaddyOFive, the more upset I became, because it's just like, it's one thing to goof with your kid and pull pranks on them. It's another to scream and cuss at them on camera, making them cry, having them beat each other up for the lulz, or smack each other, or destroy each other's stuff. I mean, I'm horrified that YouTube has let this go on for so long, considering all the censorship they've been doing. I mean, how did this fly underneath their radar?
Are there many videos of this nature on YouTube?
To my knowledge, not like this. No. I've never seen a channel like this before on YouTube. Yeah, you got your prank channels, but they are all fake. They will explain the joke at the beginning of the video, and it's nothing compared to DaddyOFive. I mean, yeah, sometimes the pranks can go a little bit far, but it pales in comparison to what DaddyOFive and MommyOFive have done to these kids. I have never seen anything like it before. Not on YouTube.
And so what did you do when you saw this video? Talk to that.
Well, like I said, I made my own video on the ink prank and loaded it and started to answer some of the comments that people were posting in the comment section. And then Cody's and Emma's biological mother appears in my comment section. And at first I thought it was somebody trying to troll, because you have people that like to create sock puppet accounts or try to be someone they're not, and it happens. But so I thought this was someone like making a joke, or it's like, okay, are you really trolling this video? Just go away. And then I started to look at what Rose was really saying, like, hey, I'm so and so, these are my kids. And then she linked me to a montage of old photos of Cody and Emma, the much healthier looking photos, mind you. And so I pulled her onto my personal Facebook and verified her there, which I saw more photos. And then I gave her my personal cell, and we have stayed in contact ever since during this entire situation.
Okay. And so the mother of Cody and Emma came and reached out to you for help?
Yes, from what she said to me specifically is when she first saw the DaddyOFive videos, she had been trying to reach out to the bigger YouTubers and to the people who were making videos on the DaddyOFive, but because these channels are so huge, like the bigger ones like DeFranco, Boogie, some of those other ones, they're not going to see every single comment. And so because my channel was at like 400 and something subscribers at the time, I was able to see her comment a lot more easily and began to speak with her. So it helped that I was a very small channel that was able to catch that.
And why did you feel so strongly about doing something about this situation? I mean, it's one thing to be appalled by what you're seeing, and there are many people who were, but kind of you went to kind of extra lengths to do something about it.
Well, because once I verified her story, we needed to get her story out there and who she was, and I really felt compelled to help her, and because I'm a past child abuse victim myself, and as well as a past victim of severe bullying when I was younger, this really, really ticked me off. And I'm one of those people. Granted, it's not my job to police the internet or bear everyone's burdens, but there are certain situations that catch my ears or cause my ears to prick up. If I can help in those situations, then I will do so. And I really felt like I needed to help Rose in this situation, and I got her in contact with bigger YouTubers who helped strengthen and louden her voice, or excuse me, make her voice louder and her story louder.
You said that this situation really, really. Do you need some water, by the
Oh,
way? Do you want to grab some water? It's pre-recorded. Do you want to grab some water?
I got cough right here. I'm good.
Okay. So you said that watching these videos, they really, really ticked you off. Could you talk to me a bit more about that?
Um, well, when their first apology video came out, and Heather was boo-hooing about how, oh well, we shouldn't have to say that we're a comprised three family or a mixed family. It really struck a chord. It just even more so because it's like my family's mixed, and my new mom never treated me the way that Heather treated Cody. You just saw how particular children with DaddyOFive was treated. The oldest one is instigated to pick on the younger ones, and I can't. I'm really sensitive when it comes to children. Granted, I'm not a parent myself, but the mistreatment of children, exploiting them, harming them, really ticks me off because I have been there. I know what the struggle is. I know what the being traumatized as a child really does to you. I mean, there's still stuff that I'm still struggling with from my past, and it caused an emotional trigger. I mean, it really did. My second response video to their apology video, I mean, I got emotional in that video because it's like, this is garbage what you guys are trying to do. Instead of taking responsibility and saying, hey, we need help, we need to stop these, this is hurting our children, no, all they did was try to cover their rear ends with, oh, this was fake, all this wonderful stuff, and it only made me even more angry because it's like, yeah, you guys aren't taking any responsibility at all for what you have done.
You said that, as someone who has had a difficult childhood in the past, you understand, what this kind of thing can do to a child.
Yes.
And there have been some articles that I've read around, some of the long-lasting damage. Obviously, we don't know the extent of the damage that it may have caused to the children. But as someone who, had a kind of real emotional response to the videos that you were watching, could you kind of talk to us a bit more about that?
Yeah, like I'm no psychologist, but just from my own experience, and every abuse victim's experience is different. But anybody who has been abused and is stuck in that hostile or that abusive environment for a long period of time can relate to this. Is you go into what's called survival mode. Your brain begins to function a certain way that helps you deal with what is going on around you. Now, it varies from person to person. Some people become very introverted. Some people get very mean and lash out to get others to go away. Now, for me personally, I became very introverted. I was very distant as a child, and when people bothered me, I would try to get as mean as possible for them to go away. Now, in Cody's situation, as we see with the DaddyOFive videos, again, I'm not a psychologist, not any of those things. But as we can see, Cody would try to lash out to try to get his agitators, whether it be Mike, the older brother, the other siblings, just to go away and leave him be. And he became more and more mean and even more aggressive. That was him saying, hey, you need to go away now, leave me alone, but he never got his space. So, I mean, any victim can attest to that. It's like it gets to a point to where some people do get really mean. It's like, okay, enough. So, that I can relate to. Go ahead.
DaddyOFive and MummyOFive. Is it Mark and Heather? Is that their
Mike.
name?
Mike and
Mike.
Heather.
Mike. Sorry,
You're fine.
Mike and Heather. In the interview that they did, one of the things, and I'm paraphrasing here, one of the things that they said was, that they're kind of very regretful for their actions, and they now realize that they went to certain extremes in order to try and get more viewers.
Hmm.
What do you say? What do you say about that?
If anything, I think it's a lack of responsibility on their part, because they let their own egos, this is just from my stance, they let their own egos get in their way. For them, it was all about the money. And Heather, because we've seen evidence of this throughout the videos, and even there's an article that's been released by Nick Monroe, and you saw the evidence in there, is that it was really never about Cody and Emma in the first place, and we saw that Mike only became interested in these two kids after the DaddyOFive channel came up and was made and started to make money. So if anything, it was never about the children in the first place, it was all about the money. And that's something that jaded them a lot to the well-being of their children as far as emotional, physical, mental. So it's a lack of responsibility, and I think honestly a lack of integrity too on their part.
DaddyOFive had over 750,000 subscribers. Why do you think it was so popular?
Because this day and age, a lot of things, a lot of behaviors are glamorized because the way that society has become. We see more of a dark humor that has formed. We see that certain behaviors are becoming more and more okay and more acceptable. And this is just in the general public. I mean, you see this with the Berkeley riots. You see this with all sorts of stuff floating around on the news. And because, granted, a lot of DaddyOFive's fans are 15 to 13-year-olds, so they're kids. So because of the way that these kids are being raised, what they're seeing on the news with Berkeley and all this other stuff, it's also being reflected in DaddyOFive, and so they're thinking, oh, this is funny. We find this funny, so this is okay. And that's the mentality, and that is legit scary.
Mm. You said that a lot of this behavior is glamorized. What do you mean by that?
Well, because you see, the shift. I don't watch TV so much anymore. I don't pay for cable because there's too much garbage on it. But as we've seen, there's been a shift in the media. They expose more dark tones, and it's one thing to put out a realistic story, an entertaining story. You have cop shows and things like that, but I think they shine light on certain things like a little too much, and so that leaves an impression on the children because of more that they're exposed to it. And I'm not saying children are dumb. Children are very smart and they can pick up on things. But I do believe that because of the way that the media has gone, and I'm not for... There are boundaries when it comes to things being shown, I believe anyway, but I believe because those boundaries are slowly starting to disintegrate, that more and more is getting put into the media, show-wise, and other types of media formats, that it needs to be pulled back a little bit. And just what these kids are seeing, like I said, in the society is reflected in DaddyOFive with the treatment of the kids. Oh, this is corporal punishment. Oh, he's just toughening them up. No. It's a very scary mentality, and I actually kind of fear for the younger generations. I really do, considering what they're going to have to go through.
Has news about difficult topics not always been around, though?
Yeah, no, they have. They have, don't get me wrong, but there's exposure on certain points of those incidents that are more focused on to attract views, and the news is guilty of this too. They will focus more on the negative aspect of the situation. Now, it's good to bring light what is actually going on, but say for example, the shooting that happened, the shooter in Ohio that videotaped shooting his victim. what I saw more of the news focusing on the shooter rather than his victim that was killed, because the family started to push, hey, he was a good grandfather, try to get his story out there, but it kept getting overshadowed by his murderer. See what my point is? It's good to put both sides of the story out there, but I feel like the negative side of the story, it's good to have it out there, but I feel like the negative side is more focused on that. Not even the good side of the story is barely out there, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. You said that a lot of the subscribers to DaddyOFive were 13 to 15-year-olds. How do you know that?
Because a lot of the hate comments I've been getting on excuse me, my YouTube channel, I've had some of these kids try to reach out to me through my graphics page, Chambers of My Heart, which I've been echoing all this stuff on. I will go and click on these users, and they're kids. They're usually kids. They're teenagers. Mostly boys from what I've seen. But yeah, they are usually kids. I'll run into maybe one, maybe two adults, if anything at that, but they're mostly kids that try to smack talk on my channel, and I ignore them. There's just no point in arguing with them. They don't understand. So it's like I've seen mostly kids.
But maybe the sort of people who troll you on your channel, we're talking about DaddyOFive having an audience of over 750,000 subscribers, and if you're kind of basing your statement that most of those are 13 to 15-year-olds on how many people have come and trolled you on your channel, then it's surely not representative, is it, of kind of the whole pool of the subscribers on the channel?
Well, no, I agree. I haven't bumped into every single one of his fans, but all the fans that have come onto my channel talking smack, or the other YouTube videos that, in regards to Rose or speaking out against DaddyOFive, I have seen nothing but teen accounts. The way that they talk, their profile pics. So I could be assuming too much. I'll put that in there. But just the mentality of a lot of them comes across as very childish, very immature.
And I guess my last question is, Rose Hall got in touch with you. What did she say?
In regards to what?
When she initially got in touch with you, kind of what did she say about the channel itself? I'm presuming that she saw some of the content on the channel, and that's why she got in touch.
She was very distraught about what Mike and Heather were doing to her children, what Mike and Heather were doing to all 5 children, and allowing to go on between all 5 children. She was emotionally stressed. From what she told me, her entire family had a hard time watching these videos, and for a while try to figure out what to do about them. They didn't know how to go about this in any sort of way. I mean, they really didn't. When it comes to Rose, she doesn't hang out on the internet. I had to walk her through how to do Skype a little bit and Google Hangouts, and so she doesn't spend her time on the internet. It's spent time with her family and doing what she needs to take care of. So when she came across these videos, from what she told me, she was just at a loss. She was hurt, she was emotional, she didn't know what to do. She was seeing her babies get tortured, bullied, abused, and publicly, and money made off of it. I mean, I can't really speak to her feelings because I'm not her, but she was really emotionally distraught about it. It really just angered her, just made her sad if anything else.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. That was a really useful interview. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else that you kind of you'd like to say?
If anything, it's just I'm thankful for the attention that's been brought to this and the people who have stepped in to help with this, because it hasn't been just me. You have YouTubers like Base Mama who have been handling the legal side of this. I mean, she's the one that found Rose's lawyer, Tim Conlon, and she's she's been working with that, but both me and Base Mama have been in intimate contact with Rose, meaning talking to her on the phone when she needs to be, updating her and passing back and forth documents. You have people who have been gathering evidence reels or making evidence reels. You have people like Suit Yourself who did that. You have Nick Monroe, which busted his ass and created this huge article with all the information and documents. I mean, it's been a group effort. I mean, it really has. The people who really have taken the time to work on this, I do feel like they're being underappreciated in a way, because I see in like articles focusing on Philip DeFranco and some of the bigger YouTubers, when honestly the only thing that they really did was make videos about it. They didn't work with Rose like me, Base Mama, Nick, and Tim Conlon did. So I keep seeing like Base Mama get like brushed underneath the rug for some unknown reason, and it's just like, well, that's kind of weird. But yeah, but like I said, it has been a group effort. People retweeting everything, people who flooded CPS's phone lines, the Baltimore PD's phone lines. So it's been a massive group effort, and which has been really cool. This still feels like unreal to me with what's been going on.
Just lastly, two quick things. Where are you from? Just so I can introduce you. Where are you from?
I'm from the United States. Are you talking about like Pacifics or?
Yeah, where in the US?
I live in
What
Illinois.
area?
I live in Illinois.
Okay. And how old are you?
25.
Okay. Well, younger than me. All right. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. And the show goes out Friday night, and it also goes out on Saturday, but I'll give you a heads up. It'll be on the World Service. I'll send you the link.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Great. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, ma'am.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Alright, Suit. Alright, Joy. That was the interview. Tell me what you thought about it. Keep this video unlisted, please, and do not pass this link around. I'm giving this link to you two only for you to analyze.